So you should be able to see slides on screen, yeah?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so first of all, I just thought I'd share what kind of went wrong with my cockiness of going, yeah, really easy to lose weight. I know how to do this type of thing, right? So basically, I was eating for the last 2 weeks. I've been eating a lot less than I was. Now, obviously, prior to that, I was purposely gaining weight, so I was in what's called a calorie surplus. I'm eating more than I'm burning off. Now, I wasn't counting calories for that. It was just eat, 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 eat. But the last month when I really wanted, when I kind of switched my goal from weighing 100 kilos to weighing 16 stone, which is 1.6 extra kilos, that was really tough to get to. And I had to eat and eat and eat and eat. So eventually, anyway, so when I thought I started eating a lot less, and I was hungry and everything like that. But the problem was, is just because I was eating less doesn't mean that I'm in a calorie deficit, i.e., that I'm burning more than I'm eating. Yes, I was eating less than what I used to, but it literally only brought me to about maintenance level where I'm burning the same amount as I was eating. Over the course of a week, 7 days, a lot, a period of time, rather than some days I'd obviously eat less, other days I was eating more. So my assumption was is that I was in a small calorie surplus because it took me so bloody long to get into that last kilo or so gain. But I must have been in a much bigger calorie surplus than I assumed. And that's obviously a problem with assumptions and things like that. So when I dropped down, I haven't dropped down enough. Now, I've already started to see the scale shift this week because I need to eat even less than that. And started to go through. But because I've kind of lost the first 2 weeks, I want to be a bit more calculated about it, a bit more planned about it, so that I can kind of next 7 weeks or so get as close to the 10% as I can. So problem with counting calories and the mistakes I make is it seems for a lot of people that it's too hard to be consistent. Like you were already kind of explaining, that you've kind of, there's so much things to calculate and count and to find out and to look at packages and all sorts of different things. Some people focus too much on trying to hit a certain number. What number? How many calories should I eat a day? How many calories should I eat a day? There is no certain answer that can be given for you, and I'll explain kind of what I'm going to do instead of setting myself an actual goal number to hit, because I don't know what that goal number is yet. People are just bad at it. They don't give themselves a learning curve, like with anything, you know what I mean? Kind of, it's counting calories really does develop into a kind of an art form, where you get kind of good at it and intuitive with it and that kind of thing. But it only happens, kind of over time. People rely too much on an app. People give too much variety within their diet. So if you've got too much variety and you're eating loads of different things and there's no structure, to your days and to your meals and to your weeks, you're going to be counting, you're, what's in that? I don't know what, I'm picking up something from a garage, or I'm picking up a ready meal, I'm having a takeaway, blah, blah, blah. There's so much different variety that you're like, again, every single meal is practically new. So, and not just with counting calories with that, it's much easier to stick with a plan if you know what you're eating, kind of consistently, kind of just the same foods, easy to make, no guesswork or anything like that. And then people enter after they've eaten the food or after they've made the meal. They just say, okay, now what's that? And I'm going to try and enter that now. It's almost like a mad panic to enter it in. They've done it, and people are weighing everything all the time as well. Big thing that people avoid then when they have a bad day. They're like, they don't put in the bad. So I look at, I can look on my MyFitnessPal and see people's, kind of diaries and stuff like that. And I'll see, Monday to Thursday, meticulously planned out. And then Friday, there's kind of like only one meal in there on Friday, or 1.5 meals. And then Saturday doesn't get tracked. And then Sunday, maybe a little bit. And it's kind of, as soon as they kind of go off the diet or have a bad day or have some alcohol or whatever, they're just like, oh, screw it, I'm not going to bother entering it or anything like that. So, as I kind of explained, those bad days are probably the most important days to actually track, because on the good days you probably are eating less and going to be in a calorie deficit. So, do you need to count calories? The answer is no. And obviously, let's say we did the 21-day blitz, and plenty of people didn't count calories and all sorts. There's so many different ways to do it. However, counting calories can give you a good awareness of what's in certain foods, foods you eat regularly and stuff like that. A lot of people, if they've never done it and they start doing it, will turn around and tell me that I never knew there was that amount of calories in such and such or whatever. I remember I had a client who brought their kids to the cinema, I think, and the kids had a McDonald's and they just had a bag of jellies. Just had a bag of jellies. And I was like, do you know how many calories? And I know. And I opened up the app. It was 600 calories. Like, what? I was like, so I would have been better off eating the McDonald's, basically, yeah, in terms of calorie terms. So an awareness is very good to get an awareness of what's in certain foods. It gives, for me, accountability. So if I'm now trying to track numbers and kind of, use that to assess my progress and adjust as I'm going forward, giving me these kind of little targets for meals and days and stuff like that for the week, just gives me a little bit more focus, a little bit more accountability. It makes it a little bit more kind of, it puts it there in front of me as opposed to forgetting about it. So in terms of how to go about doing it, probably skip ahead now about 5 million slides before this comes up. There we go. Yeah, make a plan first and foremost to do it rather than just tracking as you go and that kind of thing. So I'm going to show you kind of the rough gist of my plan here, and what I'll do then to kind of fill it out, let's say. Practice makes perfect. So don't get disheartened with making mistakes and, having, like sometimes they have a thing on the phone. I don't really even use the phone to track that much. I use the desktop, which you can scan the barcodes on it. But even then, those barcodes I've seen, it comes up with completely different food. They scan one thing and something else comes up. Definitely do, but as I said, kind of as an awareness of, when you're having your treat foods or your bad days, your takeaways or whatever it is, your higher calorie foods, the food that will prevent you from losing the weight, enter those days. To get an awareness of, I didn't realize it was that much more I was eating, or I didn't realize there was that much in, for example, the jellies and that kind of thing. There's no need to weigh foods all the time. And I'll go through kind of specifically why. It's literally can be just a waste of time. Once you have the gist of, a chicken fillet weighs this much, a fish fillet weighs this, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Once you have a gist of that, you're just calling it chicken fillet, chicken fillet is chicken fillet. And especially then lower calorie foods like, vegetables, peas, blah, 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 stuff like that. Because, you don't know kind of exactly how much you're eating them, because even if you get that completely wrong, you're not going to mess up the calories and skew the calories so much that you won't get an accurate reading. And then the big key with counting calories is to track what you're doing as you're going along. Assess, did it work, yes or no, and then adjust it. And the big kind of thing is to adjust it, because a lot of people, when if they see it not working, they just go, counting calories doesn't work. Didn't work for me, didn't lose any weight, couldn't work. And the problem is that when people are focused on a number, and the app might say, is like, okay, what's your goal? I want to lose X amount of weight. Okay, well, try and eat 1,600 calories a day. And you're kind of tracking away, and it's like, okay, right, I've eaten 1,600 calories a day for a week. I haven't lost any weight. That number is an indicator, is simply a reference number for you to adjust from. It doesn't mean you've actually eaten 1,600 calories. And that's the big thing with calories. That is, just because a map gives us a number, some arbitrary number, we're not that skilled enough to track and know exactly that we've eaten 1,600. We may have eaten 1,800, we may have eaten 1,500. It doesn't matter what the number is. It's just, if you didn't lose weight, you went in a calorie deficit. So that number that came up from the app, 1,600, doesn't matter, but that is your maintenance number from the app. And you'd need to then just adjust down by about 10 to 20% or something like that. Mm-hmm. I'll go through a little bit more about kind of why the number is not that, why it's not accurate. Similar meals repeated, like I kind of said, it's much easier to enter. So once you have, and again, if we look at it, do we eat similar breakfasts all the time? Yes. Similar dinner straight, from one week to the next to the next to the next. So it's really the setup that will take a little bit of time on it. But once you've take that time and set it up properly, then it becomes really easy to do. You can enter recipes and meals in advance, and I kind of recommend including like your takeaways or your kind of, you know, that kind of thing, because once they're in there, it's much easier then just to kind of click on them, put them in, you know, into your day, or even to plan, let's say, if I'm having a takeaway tomorrow night or something like that, that I put it into my day already. So I know there's 1,000 calories or whatever it is gone out of my day. So then I can plan the day better rather than eat my breakfast, enter that in, eat my lunch, enter that in, have a takeaway, enter that. Oh no, I ate too many calories. You know what I mean? Rather than actually plan it out in advance and have a rough gist of kind of what you're going to eat. And then what I do is I do low calorie days and high calorie days / weeks / months. So for example, let's say kind of on a kind of big picture side of things, I've been on high calorie days for the last 3 months or so, 3 or 4 months. But and I've spoken about then in the 21 days where we're doing different kind of, you know, fasting days, do maintenance afterwards, try and hold your weight steady for, you know, and so on and stuff like that. It's much easier rather than trying to stick with a set number of calories every single day. So you're going to have some lower days, some higher days, and then kind of long-term kind of alternating between weeks / months of focused, just go and kind of try and reach a goal, and then other ones where it's a bit more relaxed, but because you've got the awareness of what's in the food and stuff like that, it's much easier to maintain, kind of keep yourself where you're. And again, always comes back to, you must track what you're doing, assess it, did it work, and then adjust. Now, there's a big difference between, I've used tracking and counting interchangeably here, but I want to kind of go through the differences between the two. So I don't recommend counting calories, I recommend tracking calories, because we can't accurately count calories, okay? Here's a couple of slides that are going to show you in terms of how to find the calories in a food. Is you put it into the BOM calorie meter, it incinerates it, it measures how much heat is produced, and basically calorie is a unit measurement of heat. So when you put in a load of apples, you know, kind of same size apples into this BOM calorie meter, and they get different readings off each one. The lowest being 83 in this kind of case, the highest being 116. Same size apple, different calories. Okay. Again, you know, kind of it makes more sense even when it comes to, let's say, meat, because you've got different amount of fat and meat and stuff like that. But in vegetables, 1 cup of carrot sticks, 37 calories on the lowest, 61 on the highest. And then a cup of chopped tomatoes, 23 on the lowest, 49 on the highest. You know, so it's over twice the amount. And these are kind of low calories food. But again, if you look at a steak, 6-ounce fillet is 323 at the lowest, but 506 at the highest. And again, these are all 6-ounce steaks, get put in, and then whatever the average is, 446, right? That's what's in the database. That's what the app will kind of read it up. Does that make sense? So because no foods aren't identical. They're grown on a different tree, or and so on. So the nutrition in every single different piece of food, like, you know, it's almost like a snowflake. They're all different. So that's the one thing when people try to become too meticulous with it, it's pointless, because they don't know what's in that actual food. They just know the average. That's all you're tracking, is the average within it. And so it's good to get a number to know what your average is, or what roughly is, so you can adjust from that whether it's working or not. But don't get caught up, as I said, on the exact numbers, because they're a guess. Bread, 51 calories, 78 between 2 slices, and here's the best one. 1 large sweet potato, 231 at the lowest, 705 at the highest. It's over 3 times more. Same size sweet potato, 3 times more calories measured in the highest than versus the lowest. So again, it's just such a huge range of different calories within foods. So when we're looking at the labels, and this is kind of American information, but it's the same kind of similar enough laws in kind of Europe in terms of there's different databases that the food companies will use to estimate the calories. So the FDA in America permits inaccuracies of 20% on food labels. So 150 calories actually means between 130 and 180. So that's where you're kind of looking. Now that's just with the inaccuracies that are permitted on a label. Then when we start cooking foods, it changes. So potato, raw potato, 100 calories, 193 when it's baked. Again, it changes it. The calories become more absorbable, and we can absorb it. 91% increase. Raw egg, not that we're like Rocky drinking back raw eggs or anything like that, but 47 calories can up to 74 once cooked. So how we prepare foods kind of does. And then certain people actually can have bacteria in their body that causes them to absorb more calories from their food on a daily basis, and up to 150 a day per more that's been seen in actual studies. So irrespective of what the app is saying, you might just be taking more out of your calories. So as I said, is not to get focused on a certain kind of number to go with, because you can't accurately count calories, and just simply do not try to. A lot of people say, oh no, I only ate 1,600 calories all day. Or, I'm only eating this and I'm not losing weight. It's like, no, you don't know you're only eating this. All you got to do is get a number. Once you have that number, adjust from that number. But don't think that, I don't want to go any lower because that's really low calories. Like, you're not losing weight, you're not in a calorie deficit, so you're not eating low calories for you. So yeah, track and see what happens. That's the best way to kind of find your number, is you just put in your details. This is what I'm going to eat, and so on, make the plan, and then see if it works. If it works, great, you know you're in a deficit. If it doesn't work, you need to reduce down by about 10 to 20%. And then you track again. And does that work? Yes, perfect. Now I'm losing weight. So again, it literally is about finding your own magic number, rather than trying to kind of say, is okay, what's the formula? How many calories should I be eating? And let me kind of, aim for that. The other thing what people do as well with something like an app or MyFitnessPal is they'll add in the exercise on top of it. So it's kind of, I did 400 calories worth of exercise today, I can eat an extra 400 calories. No, don't do that. It's like, if you burn those calories from exercise, that is a bonus, but don't view it as a kind of, I've burned off this amount, so I can eat this amount. And so what I want to do now is just kind of show you, unless if anyone's any questions, feel free to put in. Now, so I'm going to show you. This is basically the diary section of MyFitnessPal. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, see if we can get that. So this is basically today. So for my, let's say, breakfast, I had a peanut butter and jam sandwich with a pint of milk. So 2 slices of bread, 200, peanut butter, 15 grams, roughly tablespoon peanut butter, probably a little bit less, I overestimate that, same with the jam, and then the milk. So all in all, 572 calories, and giving me my breakdown. I'm interested in protein only. I just want to kind of make sure that I'm hitting a certain amount of protein per day, so I don't lose muscle. And again, if I start losing muscle, just because I have a number here that says 160 grams of protein a day that I've hit, it means I just need to eat a bit more. If I start losing muscle, if I don't start losing muscle, it means I'm eating that 160 number that it's giving me is enough for me to maintain my muscle. So in terms of total for the day. But here's the thing: is like, rather than me entering this in every day, which is pretty much, I'm going to have this at least 5, if not 7 days a week. There's a button on it. There's a button in the app as well. You just basically click it, and you can go copy to date. And I can literally copy that in for the next 12 weeks if I wanted to. Generally, what I do it for the week and have it there. Then if I need to adjust, if I have a different breakfast on Sunday morning or something like that, I'll change Sunday morning's breakfast around. But it's there. I'm just going to leave it in. So I don't need to track my breakfast anymore. It's there. I know what I'm eating. So once I've done the work here, entering these in, I'll show you kind of what I'll do for dinner, because I haven't done put dinner in yet for today. I'll show you how simple it can be to do a bit of setup. Once it's there, you literally copy. The other thing what I can do is I can just click remember meal, and it comes up and it named this meal, and I can just go breakfast, peanut butter and jam, and save meal. So once that's saved, then if I wanted to, let's say for dinner, for argument's sake, I can just go to add foods to my meals and click my breakfast, and add that. So I can just do that and then going forward for tomorrow morning breakfast, blah, 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 so on. Just copy, 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 copy. So that's the big thing is people don't do enough of. They don't save the meals. They don't put in the recipes. They don't copy the same meals over and over and over again. And it's every day they're logging in, breakfast time, what did I eat, blah, blah, blah. Lunch time, what did I eat, blah, blah, blah. And it's just too time consuming. You know, you don't want to be spending your time second weighing out food and all sorts of stuff. So as I said, once it's done, you get the gist of it. I'll only adjust that then if I have a different breakfast. We run out of milk or something like that, you know what I mean? And it's very easy to adjust. You just hit the little red thing, delete it, add a food in, and so on. So as I said, let's say I'll delete these ones here. So just delete my dinner, and then I'm just going to add in and just show you kind of a couple of things when you're searching for foods to make life easier, because not only has MyFitnessPal based on the actual databases, it's also user generated as well. So you can enter in your own food. So if you kind of get a recipe or, you know, and then you can't find it in there, you can put it in and it'll come up. So you'll see users things up. Ideally, if you're adding a food, and I'll show you here, is you want to search for something that has a green tick, which means there's an actual verified number, because I've seen people entering food and it's all over the place. First of all, when you're entering your food, you will have a list of all your recent foods on your frequent ones. So you just use that more often than not. But I'll go and kind of, as I said, I want to kind of type in. So for dinner, I had hake, peas, and a lemon butter herb sauce. So a couple of things. If I type in hake and just hit search, again, I get lots of different deep fried hake, steamed hake, lots of generic hake. 116 grams, 95 calories, blah, blah, blah. Now, I actually have my nutrition thing here. Now, just to show you, mine itself had 85 calories for 115 grams. Now, this is close-ish to it, but you see the way they're all, you know, kind of, they're all over the place. They're all different. And what I can actually do is look at the brand name, Skellig Bay. And when I type that in, it actually comes up 115 grams, 85 calories, is exactly what I want. So be specific in your typing. When you're actually setting your foods up and stuff like that, be specific in it. And you know, I had 1.5 fillets. So basically, and again, it just comes up, each fillet was roughly 115 grams. So 1.5 servings of 115 grams, and add food to diary. So there's my hake. Now, I had some peas. So when I'm searching peas, again, they all come up. You see the green ticks there. So they're kind of the ones that, you know, I'd kind of use. But again, you can scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. There's an awful lot with peas. But essentially, then when you can change the servings. So how much? So it's basically 1 fluid ounce, 1 tablespoon, 1 millimeter, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to show you that in a second. For this one, I know, because I've already kind of pre-done this ahead of time, just to double check things. I had about 6 tablespoons of peas. So add food to diary. And again, if you look at the peas, there's only 38 calories. So that's not really going to be the make or break of whether I'm losing weight or not this week. So I don't have to weigh out the weight, you know, or anything like that. It's not a big thing. And even with the hake, it's only 128 calories or whatever. The big thing was the sauce. Okay, so lemon, herbs, butter. It's lemon juice. There's all calories in lemon juice. I'm not even going to bother putting it in, but I had some butter. So if I again just type in butter, it'll come up in 1 pat, apple butter and honey butter, and 1 tablespoon of unsalted. Now I know I had 25 grams, but if you look at when I go to the serving here, there's no grams there. So a quick tip for this is if I type in butter grams, it'll actually come up and give me, as I scroll down, Kerrygold 28 grams. And then I'll always select, if you know, to just I had 25. So let's say if I want to be exactly precise, servings of 1 gram, I had 25 servings of 1 gram. Basically, 25 by 1 is 25 grams. If that makes sense. So rather than kind of trying to calculate, you know, especially if it was 28 and I had 50 grams or something like that, rather than trying to do, you know, you just basically bring it down to the lowest, and then I had 50 grams. So add that to my diary, and that actually makes up then the, the highest calorie amount for my entire dinner. But there's my dinner, 345 calories. So when we come down to the bottom here, the other thing is, again, quick tools. So this is the second week in a row I've had this dinner. So I'm going to, again, quick tools, remember the meal. Pan, fried steak, and save meal. And again, I don't need to do that ever again. I don't need to worry about peas, frozen peas, butter, salt, blah, blah, blah. It's already in there. All I have to do is just add a meal the next time I have that. And then, yeah, coming through, and I'll zoom in these last numbers. So these are the numbers that I'm getting at the end of the day. And I'm going to have another snack once this is done. A little bit of protein, probably actually some chocolate as well. So I've eaten, according to this, or tracked 1,800 calories, okay? And then it shows you how many carbs I've eaten, how much fat I've eaten, and how much protein. So my protein, I want to be over 1.6, or I'm sorry, 160 is 1.6 grams per kilo of body weight. I'm roughly 100 kilos, so 160. So that's just a number I'm keeping an eye on. I want to keep that over that to make sure to try and maintain my muscle. And then this number, I'm hazarding a guess that 2,500 calories by 7 over the course of a week is going to be enough for me to be in a calorie deficit, but I don't know. So I'm erring on the side of caution and going a little bit less. So I'll eat about 2,000, 2,200 calories a day. And over the course then of a week, if I hit around that number and I'm losing weight, well, then there's that number that gives me feedback on that number. If my fitness pal is spitting out 2,000, 2,200 calories for me, and I'm losing weight at the rate I want to lose it to, then brilliant. If I'm not losing it as fast as I want to, and I want to push it a little bit more, I'll just drop that number down. Now, it doesn't mean I'm actually consuming this amount of calories a day, because we don't know. All we're doing is it's a guess, it's our best guess, and that's what I'm kind of using it for. But as I said, is once I have the gist, especially the regular meals and the snacks, because I'm going to have the same snacks like a protein shake, apples, they're already in there. So it's so easy just to quickly add all those in over the course of spend some time on it, so that I'm going to actually, tomorrow, there's my snacks. For Saturday, there's my snacks, copy, and just kind of put them all in. And then it's only a little bit of fine tuning each day that I need to go in and go, did I eat that? No, okay, I eat that instead. And you just swap something around. But if I have 90% of it already done for me, it makes life so much easier. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, rather than me going in and doing what I've just shown you every single day, granted, dinner is always going to be something different over the 7 days, but then you try and kind of keep it at least 4 or 5 of those meals fairly similar and consistent from week to week to week to week to week. So that then I can just literally save the meal and then say, okay, I have that meal tonight, and go from there. Cool. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Totally.
Not that you're uber excited to go, oh yes, I can't wait to start counting calories and tracking calories now.
No, the thing about the variation is because when I'd done it before, you were looking at 2,500 and then doing all those calculations. And effectively, if you were reckoning that really you need to be hitting 10 to 15% under the target anyway,
yeah,
as a variation. So don't obsess about getting it accurate up. So have a 2-2 and know that you've got to hit that median.
Yeah, exactly.
And it all becomes much easier, whereas I found it quite frustrating in many ways, trying to get the exact. And
yeah, absolutely.
I think when I was doing it, I was using the Fitbit app, and it's very American. So you weren't finding the things that you wanted, because there were all kinds of weird things in there and weird brands that you didn't have. And I found that quite difficult. Yeah,
I see that all the time with MyFitnessPal as well. So when I'm looking at people's diaries and you kind of go in and you kind of you can see the American brand names and stuff like that they're just in, because it's so frustrating for them to just go, screw it, I'll just click this, I'll click this. But as I said, a bit of setup in the background that if you want to do, if and again, some people work so well on counting calories, like my fiance Kira, she hates the 21 days because there's too much variation in the day to day like that, and and it's kind of like, what am I going to do, and what do I cook for the kids, and what, all this kind of sort of stuff. Whereas for her, counting calories is so easy. So again, she's made it really easy because the favorite foods are there, or blah blah blah, and it's just simply a matter of just going tap 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 tap. And as I said, is the way I'm doing it is I don't want to be having to go on to this every time I've eaten a meal, or to remember to do it or anything like that. Literally to have it set up ahead of time. My breakfast is going to be in there for 7 days of the week, and my snacks are going to be in there for 7 days of the week. It's dinner really, because I'm not 100% sure exactly what we're going to have for dinner every day, because generally Kira cooks it. So that's the only one that I have to go in. But again, it's the similar meals, and just hit the meal and not get obsessed about, how much mince did you put in the stir fry tonight, or whatever. Like, so we don't need to know that exact amount, but just to know is roughly what you're eating as well, that I know I have a visual awareness of the size of my meals and my foods and everything like that, so that if I'm not losing weight, or if I get to a point after 6 or 7 weeks, or 5 or 6 weeks, and I'm not losing weight anymore, that I know I need to reduce those portion sizes. You know what I mean? Rather than being too obsessed with the app. But it's very important, because I get a lot of people say, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. And then you get them using the app, and they're going, I'm eating 600 calories of nuts a day. You know what I mean? It's like, that's why I'm not losing weight. So as I said, I just kind of thought that I would share that.
No, that's good. Then I just say to myself, why did I put cashews in the curry tonight? That's the only thing that happened there, John. It was chicken, and I thought, oh yeah, a bit of cashew with the chicken.
That'll be nice.
And if you don't log them, David, do they count?
No, that's exactly it. Yeah. Well, when you're that's, like, as I said, is for the bad days, or the takeaways, or the alcohol days, they're the ones to really kind of go in, because we'll generally be easier on ourselves mentally, going, I didn't have that much to drink, or probably not that many calories in that packet of crisps, or that blah blah blah, or maybe that's 500 calories when it was 800 or 1,000. You know what I mean? So they're the days.
And John, can I ask you, is this what you're using in your program at the moment now, or are you? Because I was going to send you the 21-day blitz when I heard you were doing what you were doing. Are you doing that? Are you doing the 21-day blitz as well for yourself, or is this your form?
No. This is what I'm doing.
Okay.
One of the reasons, let's say, with the 21-day blitz is that for me, it's the muscle mass maintenance that I really want to kind of get right. And doing the 21-day blitz, it's not necessarily saying that if I do it, I won't get it. But this way is a little bit more scientific, a little bit more accurate for me, to try and kind of maintain and try and keep my exercise levels high as well. So I don't want to do too many very low calorie days, like the low fat days and stuff like that. And the other thing as well is for me is that I want to, again, that breakfast of the peanut butter and jam sandwich and milk. You know what I mean? It's simple, it's easy. I'm trying to feed Logan at the same time. So again, it's just like I can just make it and have it there. You know, it's really simple, rather than kind of going, oh, I can't have fat today. Or today's a low carb day, so there's no, whatever like that. So just for me, it just gives me.
It's a lifestyle. That's a lifestyle piece.
Exactly. It allows me to have some chocolate tonight, let's say.
Right.
You know what I mean? Rather than having to. And that's the beauty about, let's say, the overall thing about, you just count calories, figure out your deficit that you're losing weight. It doesn't really matter what those calories are when it comes to weight loss. When it comes to pure weight loss. Now, there are factors that if you're hungry all the time because you're eating the wrong foods, if you're tired because you're not getting nutrition in, and stuff like that, they're all kind of aspects that we've got to look at. But when it comes down to it, I've had a lot of people who have gotten the calorie counting right to get that awareness of, I can have that because there's only 200 calories in that. And that's not going to actually that's not fattening, because it's not pushing me over my limit for the day. That's a big thing, to kind of have more freedom around food. That there's no, for this, there's no bad foods, no fattening foods, no blah, 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 as long as I can fit it in and as long as I'm losing weight.
I think the other really useful thing is that kind of structuring of our patterns of meals, and it takes you back because I don't know, when we were growing up, there was a pattern to the week. I'm sure it's the same for us.
No, we had it. Yeah,
you knew what was coming during the winter, and you knew what was coming in the summer. And in fact, that's quite easy. Whereas now you tend to say, "Oh, what I'll have today," and then it becomes a bit askew.
Yeah.
Or it's harder to track.
There's
something really useful about having some class of a pattern.
Yeah. And again, we might not have to be for every single meal or whatever like that.
Oh.
But I do remember we had lamb cutlets, regular weekly basis lamb cutlets, gammon steak and pineapple. There was
the classic.
Exactly that.
I don't do it enough anymore.
No. But I remember, exactly that those days when you're having the exact,
Coddle on a Saturday.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
I know. Who knew?
Never.
Who knew? There weren't that many people boiling sausages in London when I was growing up, but we definitely did.
Oh, goodness. Gee, not a chance. No.
Anyway, so
I don't do cuddle. I do cuddle. I don't do cuddle.
Well, there's probably not that many calories in cuddling.
I don't think so. No, they're safe. Safe bet. See if they're on the app. See if they're on the app.
Exactly. Put that one in.
Okay, perfect, guys. We shall, or actually next week we're going to announce Sean Rooney, who interviewed me. He has a talk on mindset that he's giving. He's given to other companies and stuff like that. So he's going to do it for us. Talk on mindset. So that's going to be next Thursday. We'll do that. So that'll be a nice, interesting one. And I won't have to talk.
You won't.
Well, I'll have to get a recording of that one, John, because I have to run an AGM next Thursday.
No worries.
So,
well, enjoy that, David. I know what they're like.
I know. I'm having the runs around.
Zoom might be your friend for an AGM.
Yeah, no. I've done AGMs on Zoom before, and they're not too bad because you have a mute control, which is there's a lot to be said for it.
And you can turn the chat on, or you can turn it off.
Absolutely. So I'm hoping it'll be focused and organized. But that'll.
Well, I'll be at the mindset, and I won't be thinking of you in your AGM, David. I have to tell you. No offense.
No, you're grand. You're grand. It'll give me I'll start with my 8 o'clock session in the morning, John.
Nice one.
All right,
super stuff, guys. Listen, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
John,
take care.
for putting this on.
Guys.
Thanks for giving up your evening and doing this. Thanks a million. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks.
So, see you soon. Take care.
See you guys.